What if I told you the circle of fifths could help you completely transform any piece of music you're playing? Today, we're diving into an intermediate level look at the circle of fifths, not just the basics, but how it's actually used to transform your piano playing. We'll start with a quick foundation review and then move into the really exciting stuff. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Rosemary. I've been teaching for over 20 years and composing imaginative educational piano music for nearly as long here at Must Love Music. If this is helpful, please consider subscribing. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much. This channel got to 1,500 subscribers last month, and it's wonderful to know that these videos are helping so many people each week. Let's quickly review what the circle of fifths shows us. The main information includes the number of flats or sharps in any major or minor key and which major and minor keys are related to each other. And we're going to come back to that last point a little bit later. Now here's a memory trick for the order of sharps. Fat cats go down alleys eating birds. So F, C, G, D, A, E, B. For flats, we need to reverse that order. So B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So you could use something like big elephants always dance gracefully, catch fireflies. If it's silly, that's okay. What I'd like you to do is pause to create your own sentence that makes sense to you or just makes you laugh, and then come on back. And please share them in the comments because, man, my students have had some great ones over the years, and I would love to hear yours. Make sure that you memorize your sentences. I've had so many students who didn't and found it much harder at this level to read and analyze their music. So here's where it gets exciting for intermediate piano players. Let's look at how this actually helps when you're playing music. I'm going to play a quick excerpt from Moments, and I want you to listen for something fascinating to happen. As always, all musical examples are available on my site, but while you can't see it, our key signature tells us we could be in B minor or in D major. They're related keys that share the same sharps and flats. But it's up to us to figure out whether the music is major, minor, or even another mode. In this section, you could hear how this piece starts in B minor and then transitions into its relative major, D major. The circle of fifths helps us understand this relationship and predict these kinds of changes. And it's also a hint to what we'll be doing in our music. Learning to use the circle of fifths like this is just the beginning of creating your own musical ideas. In my online piano studio, we focus on improvisation from day one. So you're not just playing notes, you're creating music that's uniquely yours. My teaching approach is designed to be accessible and neurodivergent-friendly, letting you learn at your own pace in an inclusive environment where diverse learning styles are celebrated. If you'd love to learn how to improvise and compose your own music and develop these creative skills, visit mustlovemusicpianostudio for a meet and greet session. So let's explore this concept through improvisation. Another powerful way to use the circle of fifths is to change between major and minor keys, aka modes. And this changes the number of sharps or flats that you're working with. We're going to use the same moments example, but look at a much smaller section. This section is a D major section with broken chords that use inversions moving upward, and then a G major broken chord with inversions moving downward. And I'm just going to do the right hand. So that's our D major going up, G major going down, and we're actually ending not on the D that we would expect, and that's for a specific reason. Watch what happens when we change this from D major to D minor. When we look at our circle of fifths, we realize that we're going from 2 sharps for D major to 1 flat for D minor. Just before we improvise, let's go through those together. We'll go back to D major here. We're in root position. Then go into first inversion, repeat it, and go up to second inversion. And the reason we're doing that is it takes us pretty close to where we need to be for that G major going down. So now G major going down, we're in first inversion, root position, repeat root position, and we're going to end on the E. Just adds a little something different. So let's do that together. D major, root, first, second. Excellent. Now let's improvise with the chords in both modes and hear the completely different emotional quality this creates. I might play something like so just something very simple. And I would use probably the notes of the D major pentatonic. So D, E, F sharp, A, B. You can play those going down, of course. But what happens when we do this in minor? So let's quickly review minor. So we would have our D minor chord, again, root position, go up to first, second inversion, G minor this time, first inversion, root, and then so actually in this case, it becomes a E minor diminished chord. Do a little improvisation. So if we're in D minor, let's just do the first 5 notes. Ooh, okay. So you might have liked or really hated that last part of my improvisation. Kind of dug the little dissonance there. So go ahead and pause and try this out on your own. Using the circle of fifths like this transforms you from someone who just reads music to someone who can actively change and create music. And this is exactly the kind of musical exploration you'll find in my Beatles-inspired retellings collection playlist. Each piece uses the circle of fifths in different ways, and go ahead and check out that playlist to discover how these concepts work in complete musical pieces. Thanks and happy playing.